Hey everyone, welcome back to the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self-Care Challenge Day 5, talking about communication in the throat chakra and speaking your truth. So if you have not yet grabbed your journals, go get it. Just kidding. Come journal with me, right? So what came for me today, as soon as I got started, was with the self, because that's what we talk about, going within, right? Really increasing our self-awareness, assessing what we notice, how we treat ourselves or how we mistreat ourselves, and then how we can realign with the source of unconditional love. So, again, with that communication, so normally we talk about communication styles, right? So, how do you verbalize? Like, what is your style? Are you aggressive in the way that you speak? Are you passive in the way that you communicate? A little bit of passive aggressiveness, we can combine both, right? Or assertive. Passive, aggressive, and assertive. I want to make sure I got them all three. What about with you? I've mentioned before in other videos, if you've been following me along, you might remember that I had said before that when I paid attention to how I spoke to me, it kind of really floored me because I would not ever tolerate someone talking to me the way I talk to me, right? It was quite eye-opening to see, and journaling was actually how I was able to recognize that, how I was able to get in that observer mode, right, which we'll talk about more tomorrow in the third eye chakra, getting more into that observer mode to pay attention to what I was saying to me. We get on automatic pilot, right? Thoughts just go, get on the hamster wheel, just spin in old habits and old patterns. Take a moment to really see what that's like. How do you speak to yourself? Are you empowering yourself, or do you kind of disempower yourself in the ways of like, oh, you can't do that. Let me criticize you a little bit. Let me kick you down a little bit. Let me throw in some doubt or blame, shame, or guilt or whatever that might be, right? Whatever that is for you. How do you talk to yourself? And some people might be like, I don't talk to myself, but we do all the time, all day long. We have so many thoughts. I don't remember how many now. It was like millions, I think. I think it was like millions in a day of thoughts that we have. Are we aware of every single thought? Probably not. They're just going, right? They're just spinning and going. You'll notice more what you're thinking as well. So, journaling is one, meditating is the other, especially if meditation is new to you, if you find it challenging, because you really start to notice that your brain doesn't doesn't really quiet down that much, right? It just keeps going. There's some type of thought going on in our heads. So it's to bring ourselves back to that moment of silence, which also came up in journaling today, by the way, because of our listening skills. What are our listening styles? Do we actively listening to gain a better level of understanding? Or do we selectively hear just listen for what we want to hear, which I also call like a reactive listening style, where you're listening to pounce. I'm only listening for those key words so I can have that gotcha moment, right? Do you listen to yourself? So again, that came in mind, body, and spirit. So it reminds me of for our bodies, when we're working on something and our body starts to get sore and you're like, oh, just let me push through. Just let me keep going. Let me finish this up. And we're not listening. The body's trying to say, slow down, I need a break, or don't do that because this is about to get bad. But we plow through it anyways, and then we suffer and complain about it later, oftentimes, right? So then we're not really listening to ourselves in that aspect. Another is to listen to your emotions. Do you pay attention to what you're actually feeling? I know some people don't want to tap into their emotions or don't want to identify them, certainly don't want to talk about them, but this is for you and your own self awareness. So when you do your own check in, what emotions can you identify? What do you feel? And when you're feeling low or you're feeling heavy or the opposite, and you're feeling kind of anxious and stressed out and overwhelmed, are you doing things to take care of you? Are you finding ways to slow down? Are you finding ways to catch your breath, right? Do you listen to the emotional cues, or do you do what we do in the physical and keep pushing through and pushing through and pushing through until it becomes overwhelming and debilitating, right? Do you listen to, we talk about speaking our truth in communication. Again, we speak about our ego humanness side or the side of spirit. And when I say that, I mean, again, when you think of your self image, if you describe yourself, how do you describe yourself? What words come after that? I am, right? As we talk about on Wednesdays with the solar plexus chakra. Are we in cycles and patterns of self blame, shame, guilt, doubt? Again, the disempowerment, um, or even in like fear, unworthiness, insignificance. Or there's a big flip side to that as well, like the overactive energy, right? We can get into the grandiosity of things. So that came up. Actually, I was listening to a video of Aaron Doughty. I think that's how you say his name. Doughty. Sorry, I don't know. But I was listening to a video of his. I don't think I finished it actually. I was listening to it on the road. But he talked about that too, like both sides of a spectrum, right? We can have the little different topic, but still a similar concept, where we beat ourselves down or we have that unworthiness and insignificant feeling, or we flip it and we get overactive and we get what people often call that egoic or egocentric. Um, where we have those grandiose feelings, like really put ourselves up on a platform, like, look at me, right? I'm amazing. And it's that there's that key because in some ways we do want to support ourselves and be empowering and give ourselves those kudos, right? See the positive within ourselves with humility, meaning also being humbled, right? So, although, yes, empower yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself, you are important in seeing that in ourselves, but not going so far to another end to where we're kind of putting ourselves above other people. That's the biggest thing because we're all the same. Yes, we have differences in our human, and we're unique in our human, but we're also the same. We're also still human, right? We're also all still having a human experience. We all are an aspect of God, source, the source of unconditional love, all of us. So there's not one above another in that way, right? So that part gets a little tricky on checking yourself to see, like, am I able to give myself that love and that compassion, that source of unconditional love, seeing and recognizing, celebrating my successes and my wins and giving myself kudos and being empowering and encouraging within myself and in that way without getting overboard then either, right? Having that balance, if you will, and humility. And I don't mean like humiliation, it's very different. Just to be humble, to still remember where we are, how we get here, um, and that we are human, right? And that we all are. So one of us is not better than the other. So we're not as good as someone else. We're just as good as everyone else. We're just not better than everyone else, right? We all make our same, not the same, but we all make our fair share of mistakes and we all make our fair share of poor decisions, right? I'm sure no, I haven't talked to every human being on the planet, but I'm going to guess that the majority of the humans on the planet have had their moments of like, ooh, mm, I feel really bad about that because of a decision they made, right? We all have it. We all do. And it's not to blame, shame, and guilt. It's just to stay humble, right? It's just to stay humble because that quickly we can make other decisions again, right? Every moment is a new opportunity and every moment is a new ability to make a decision. So then finding that balance of higher self in spirit of unconditional love for self and others, right? Because that unconditional love doesn't exclude anyone, including self. Like, yeah, I can see, honestly, I can see myself in that spectrum. I can see myself in the, like, as I reflect I can see moments and cycles and patterns of myself of being like lowest of the low, just done as a human being because, I didn't feel worthy enough, good enough, undeserving, insignificant, all the icky, to the other extreme of um, feeling such a strong drive and fight, right? I'm going to fight for who I am. I'm going to be fight to be heard, and no one's going to treat me that way. And, you know, I will be, and I can do anything I want to. And so I've definitely in myself can reflect and see, um, or get caught up in those like, well, what about me? And I matter too. Um, and that tends to come with like burnout, right? When I get overwhelmed and burnout and just feel drained and depleted from trying to be a helper and a caretaker, and when I would rescue and all the things, then I would get in that, well, what about me moment? And sometimes it's good to check in to say, what about you? Are you taking care of you? But then that reminder that it's me that has to take care of me, and it's not anyone else's duty, position, responsibility, right? To take care of me. It's mine. So that is the check in. And I think for me, that's some of that humility is like, ooh, it's not about pointing my finger out and say, well, I've been doing all of this for you, but you're not doing for me. It's about me looking in the mirror to say, where are your boundaries? Are you taking care of yourself? What are you doing to take care of yourself? Right. So check myself on that because I can quickly go, well, yeah, I do. Do you? Is it enough? What do you need to do? Add something different or swap it out, right? Like, is it working for you? Because if I'm truly calling myself out and being honest with self, right, as we look in that mirror, I wouldn't be overwhelmed and depleted and drained if I was truly taking or good care of myself. Let me throw the word good in there. If I was doing a really good job at self-care, I probably would not feel depleted, right? So again, checking myself on that because sometimes what I do isn't enough or it becomes so habitual that I'm not present in it. Was it yesterday we mentioned that a little bit? Really being present in that minute. So again, sorry about my table, if I wiggled, even if we're just giving ourselves that minute to step outside, to get some fresh air, connect with nature, or wherever we are, taking that deep breath and really feeling it, feeling our lungs expanding in that fullness of the breath. Am I Did my thing just glitch? Because it looked like it did on mine. That was really interesting in the timing of that. Anyway, it looked like a flash on my end, so I'll be interested to see if that showed up on the replay. Anyways, made me miss what I was thinking. Oh, feeling the fullness of the breath, right? Really being present with ourselves, gifting ourselves that self-care. Because I breathe all day long, right? We breathe all day long. It doesn't necessarily feel like self-care, right? I'm listening. Most of you know I'm a caregiver for my mom, and we are preparing for a yard sale this weekend. It's been fun, and I think I was trying to listen to make sure she's not trying to overdo something because she's going through stuff, but I think she's just taking a look. Sorry about that. Anyway, having that minute for you to take care of yourself, being present in those moments. Again, check it. Sorry if you hear that. I think she's just going through the closet or a cabinet. Make sure you check in with you, be aware, right? So be aware of how you speak to yourself and if you listen. And oh, the asking for help came up today too. Do you ask for help when you need it? That's not one of my strong points, just saying. So I'm asking you, do you ask for help when you need it? So be aware, assess where you're at. Excuse me. Do your communication styles and the way that you're speaking to yourself and listening to yourself, are they in alignment with the source of unconditional love? And if not, what is an action step you can take to get in alignment with the source of unconditional love? Remember that unconditional love is for the collective, which includes ourself, right? We keep saying we're part of a collective, but then we detach and focus out here. We are part of that, right? And we create a ripple effect. So how we're speaking to this part of the collective, this one. So look in the mirror. How you're speaking to that part of the collective is a ripple effect outward, right? That's an energy we are sending outward. So let's be mindful of that. And take a moment to meditate. Doesn't even have to be a long one. If you can do it, great. If you have the time and you have the quiet and you want to sit and you're able to, however long you want to meditate, go for it. But if you don't wait until you have enough time, is what I'm trying to say. Don't wait until you have an hour. Don't wait until you have 30 minutes, a minute. Give yourself a minute, 5, right? But just listen to you and ask yourself, how do I talk to me? See if something pops up for you. How do I feel? Right? We check in with the body. We do body scans. We see how we feel on the inside. How am I feeling? Am I listening? If I got a bunch of tension in my shoulders, am I listening to that? Am I addressing that? Am I trying to ease that, take care of that? Or am I ignoring it? What are you doing? Okay. I believe we're good for today. So thank you for all who hopped in on the live. Thank you for all who hopped back for the replay. I do hope that you are taking care of you and showing yourself, allowing yourself to receive unconditional love. What else? Still including the link for the upcoming brand new, I'm going to call it, I don't know, masterclass. I was going to say mini masterclass. So if you haven't yet, sign up for that for the first live round. It's exciting, November 10th. I'm excited. What else? If you have any questions, comments, please leave them. Any aha moments, any reminders that you may hear or want to remind yourself of when you get another notification, right? Let me know. Share this out if you feel someone else might benefit from it. If you know someone who could also use a reminder to take care of themselves, right? I will see you tomorrow for alignment. See, more alignment. And being in the observer mode and the energy in the third eye chakra. Take good care of you. So much love. Bye, guys.